All right, so today I'm going to focus on the coil and shock removal. And honestly, that's kind of all I have planned for today, just in case it takes me longer than expected, but we'll see how far we get. Going to remove the shock from inside first. Actually, I got to pull this cover off as well. I think it's just bolted on. I guess we'll find out. Yeah, and then get the shock out. I did rent this tool from AutoZone, this coil compression tool. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that is the focus of today's video. All right, so it took me a little while to get that cover off, but here's what it kind of looks like. So I pulled that off. So there were a couple of sneaky bolts. So it was 3 on each side here, but then there was 2 here, or I guess the bolts themselves kind of went through right here. Yeah, so the next thing for me is get the shock out. So I believe there are just 2 bolts, one here and then one in the back and the bottom, and then there's I guess all of these 2 and really these 3 as well. And then that should, from what I understand, just come right out of the top. And then once that's out, we can focus on the tricky part, which is getting this actual spring out. So yeah, let's get to it.
Pressure make diamonds, so I'm covered in ice. Got me out for the whole pie, I don't want a slice. In a room full of bad girls, that's not my type. Cause I'm married to the game, baby, that's my wife. Whole board getting wiped down, we don't play light. Never psyched out, 100 proof, everything's spiked. All boxes getting checked off, cause that's what I write. Got wings made of hundreds, I'm about to take flight. Going up, going up, blow it up, blow it up. Hold it up, hold it up, throw it up, throw it up, throw it up, throw it up, blow it up, blow it up. Hold it up, hold it up, throw it up, throw it up.
All right, so ran into a problem. Still just trying to get this shock out. Got all the bolts out of this. As you can see, it's ready to come out. The only problem is there are 3 nuts total in this guy here. I was able to successfully get one off here. However, these 2 got towards the last couple of threads, and now the bolt that goes through is spinning with the nut. I don't know if you can see that right there. So anytime I try to turn this nut up here that spins, I've tried using a pry bar, a flathead screwdriver to kind of hold that bolt in place with some pressure. Nothing seems to work. I've tried to use leverage up here. I did add a little more. Yesterday I had put some blaster on these to try to loosen them, but and yeah, for the most part it works, but I don't know if this last little bit may have some gunk or something in there. I don't know. Both of these are kind of stuck. So yeah, now I've got to think of how to solve this. I guess this would be considered my first real challenge of the build so far, or the teardown process. But yeah, otherwise, I think, the bolt in the back of the shock under here was a little tricky to get into, but other than that, those were pretty easy. So yeah, it's just getting these out here so I can have enough clearance to pull this guy out. I guess worst case scenario is I have to cut those bolts somehow. It's pretty tight, so I don't really know exactly how that would work. Plot twist, I was able to get the shock out without removing this top brace. I don't know what it's called. So that's good. So now I can continue with removing the spring. because once I get the spring out, then I can better access that bolt that I'm, you know, these two bolts that I can't seem to get to cooperate. So yeah, I'll just focus on that and then we'll go from there. But yeah, see how this goes. Here's the kit that I got for the compression kit for the coil. Let's see. From AutoZone. Okay, yeah, so this looks like the one I saw somebody else use on another video, which is great. So my understanding is these hooks here will grab onto coils towards the bottom, and this guy will basically kind of finish off. This will mount to the top of this guy here with these washers, and then kind of be the leverage point. And then I will be able to put a socket on this end and just slowly twist it until I have enough tension on it to it's compressed enough to be able to pull out, I guess is the plan here. So let's see how it goes. All right, back to square one. I do have to figure out how to take this top bracket off because the tool will not fit through the top here with that in place. So yeah, I guess back to the drawing board. All right. Okay, so I was able to get a second nut off, so I had to get a little creative here. I don't know if you can see in there. So I basically took a flathead screwdriver and a hammer, created like a little notch in the bolt because it's just a flat end bolt, so there's nowhere to put a wrench or anything on it. I've tried wedging the screwdriver behind it and pry bar, and it just keeps spinning. So I made that little notch, and that basically gave me a little bit of leverage with the screwdriver. So I put the screwdriver right in that little area, and it held while I took a socket to this side. So I'm going to do the same thing to this last one and see if that works. Actually, kind of funny, but since I had two of them out, it looks like I could have just slid it off like I just did that whole time. But yeah, as you can see, I put a little notch in it. I would have gotten it eventually. I think I just needed to get the notch in the right spot so I could get enough leverage with the screwdriver, but that also works. We'll take it.
Quiere, es como un ángel hasta que lo mueve esa cara de santa que tiene, que se delata, que dice que me quiere, no quiero que pase.
All right, so I initially had the compression tool installed wrong. So here I've corrected it, but I wanted to show you guys before I move forward, just in case anyone else out there is just like me and has no idea what they're doing, wants to give this a shot. But basically, so I have, you know, both hooks, one here on this lower spring, and then one up here. You'll notice that each one of these arms are different lengths. That's so they can kind of match the coils here. And then what I did was initially I installed this clamp here on top up here, thinking that's where it was supposed to go, but that's not correct. Because yes, you'll be able to compress the spring, but you won't be able to pull it out, obviously, because that piece will be mounted here. As well as I'm sure there's many other reasons why not to do it that way, but yeah, so basically I put it just here at the top, and you'll see all the washers stacked on top of this. And then yeah, just a couple turns to get everything nice and snug before I start compressing it, but just wanted to show you guys that just in case.
Si tenemos algo mágico, yo te espero como el tráfico, vos y yo somos un clásico, deja todos esos básicos y vente conmigo, ella es como un Goya, no tiene precio si así baila, imagina cómo folla, tiene algo oscuro cuando lo enseña, conmigo es otra historia, con esa carita nunca diría, conmigo es otra historia.
verte ya me lo hace ver. ¿Cómo lo voy a querer? Quedarme contigo si no va tan bien. Si lo haces tan bien, yo sé que lo quiero y tú también. Sé que tú también. Ella es como un Goya, no tiene precio si así baila. Imagina cómo folla. Tiene algo oscuro cuando lo enseña. Conmigo es otra historia. Con esa carita nunca dirían que conmigo es otra historia.
All right, here they are. The shock and the spring. Yeah, I was very obviously worried about this, but there were some other random things that shouldn't have been hard that were hard, but I guess that should be expected. Honestly, just excited that it's finally out. I do still have to do the passenger side. Don't know if I'm gonna get to that today, but yeah, this is it's a good start, and I don't know, we'll see how far we can get, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
Es otra historia.